There is a story the public has been watching unfold, and then there is the story beneath the surface. On camera, she appears composed, calm, and measured, a person facing unimaginable circumstances with extraordinary poise. Millions see only this version, admiring her strength, applauding her dignity, and sharing messages of support. But the reality, the full weight of what she endures, is far more complex. The visible story is only a fraction of her suffering. Behind the composure is a private agony, layered and deep, a crisis that stretches beyond headlines, social media, or public sympathy. The turning point? Her life changed on February 1st, 2026. On that morning, her mother's home was found empty. Authorities confirmed that an elderly woman had been taken against her will. Suddenly, the term kidnapping became attached to a woman the nation recognized only as a beloved parent. From that moment forward, her life divided into two tracks: the public track, requiring composure and control, and the private track, filled with fear, uncertainty, and profound helplessness. She faced a paradox: maintain a public facade of strength while privately experiencing one of the most painful crises imaginable. The physical tragedy. The first layer of tragedy is tangible and immediate. Her mother is 84, dependent on daily heart medication to survive. Every hour without it increases the risk to her life. The kidnappers didn't just take someone, they placed a vulnerable body into a life-threatening situation. Understanding the stakes, she has faced each moment knowing that her mother's survival could be slipping away. This awareness, this constant tension between hope and fear, is a weight most people could not bear. Yet she functions, manages public appearances, and addresses the situation with the professionalism the world admires. The public performance. The second layer of tragedy is less visible, but no less devastating. She must perform, holding herself together with absolute control, because millions are watching. Every word must be measured, every action precise. To falter publicly could jeopardize both her mother's safety and the ongoing investigation. The scrutiny is relentless, the expectations impossible, and yet she sustains it. What onlookers interpret as strength is, in reality, a meticulously cultivated response to unbearable pressure, a product of a lifetime of conditioning that taught her to handle pain through performance rather than surrender. The legacy of her upbringing. Her ability to perform under pressure did not arise spontaneously. It was instilled in her from childhood. Raised after the death of her father, she absorbed a philosophy that equated vulnerability with weakness and composure with love. Pain, fear, and uncertainty were to be set aside, managed with control and determination. She learned early that the world rewards resilience, not surrender. These lessons shaped her into someone who, even under extreme duress, can meet impossible expectations. But this preparation came at a cost. A lifelong internal question, never fully resolved, about whether she is enough outside of performance. The question that haunts her. For decades, she has asked herself a single, persistent question. Am I enough? Not enough for her colleagues, not enough for the public, not enough for recognition or praise, but enough for the person who mattered most, her mother. This question, unspoken yet deeply felt, has been a constant companion throughout her career, her personal life, and now, the most extreme crisis imaginable. Despite her accomplishments, her composure, and her brilliance, the deepest insecurity remains. Is she enough without the performance, without the accolades, without the careful management of perception? The invisible weight of love. The tragedy of her situation is not a reflection of a mother's love. Her mother loved her unconditionally. Yet, the lessons she received shaped her understanding of that love. The invincibility she demonstrates publicly is a reflection of the philosophy she internalized. To be loved, she had to appear strong, capable, and composed. In this moment, the greatest weight is not the kidnapping, not the medical urgency, nor the public scrutiny. It is the absence of the person whose presence once provided the unequivocal reassurance she craves. The 3 words that would dissolve decades of doubt. I love you. The public and private divide. Since the moment she learned of her mother's disappearance, her life has existed in parallel tracks. Publicly, she thanks the authorities, appeals for help, and addresses the kidnappers with dignity. Privately, she confronts the worst imaginable fear, that the woman who gave her life, her guidance, and her sense of worth may never return. Each public gesture masks an internal storm. Every measured word is a shield, every composed moment a survival tactic. The contrast between what is seen and what is felt underscores the profound complexity of this tragedy, a duality that only she truly experiences. The heart of the tragedy, the deepest layer of this tragedy, is silent, intimate, and heartbreaking. The person who could answer her lifelong question, the person whose love is unconditional, is absent. All the public acknowledgement, the career achievements, and the external support cannot replace the reassurance that she is enough simply because she is herself. This absence magnifies the pain. It is a quiet sorrow, invisible to most, yet it is the dimension that defines her suffering. She must navigate grief, fear, and uncertainty while carrying the weight of a lifetime of internalized expectations. The gift she needs, if her mother returns safely, the most profound gift she could receive is simple: words of unconditional love. Not praise for composure, not recognition for courage, not acknowledgement of strength, but affirmation of her intrinsic worth. 3 words. I love you. Words that affirm she has always been enough, without achievement, without performance, without external validation. This is the acknowledgement she has waited for her entire life. This affirmation is not dramatic, it is quiet, and yet it is the most transformative act of love she could ever experience. A call for return. The urgency of her mother's return is both physical and emotional. Time is critical for her health, and every passing hour increases the danger. But beyond the medical urgency lies the immeasurable need for emotional closure. The reunion will not only save a life, but also heal a lifelong wound. A wound formed by the intersection of love, expectation, and the relentless pressure to perform. Bringing her mother home is not only about survival, it is about restoring the possibility for her to finally hear the words she has waited for all her life. Conclusion: enough. The tragedy she faces is complex and layered. The kidnapping, the medical danger, the national attention, and the lifelong internal struggle all converge in this crisis. Yet, the heart of the story is simple. She is enough, and has always been enough. The person who can deliver this truth, the one whose love defines her sense of self, is absent. When that presence returns, it will provide closure, reassurance, and the quiet, profound affirmation that she has sought for decades. Until then, she endures, performs, and waits, carrying a burden that only she truly understands.